Hello, students. Good morning to all of you. Welcome you all to this lecture. It is of Electrical Machine 1, code number EE205. And I, Racha Saxena, working as assistant professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering. Uh, in this unit number 3, that is DC machines. The main topic, or we can say the headline of this unit is DC machines, and we have started in the previous lecture about this unit. So this unit is totally deals with the DC machines, and today we are going to study the armature windings, commutation process, and EMF equation. So first of all, before starting my lecture, I want to brief about the previous lectures. That in this unit number 3, basically we are going to study about the DC machines. So first, the DC machine fundamentals, basically the fundamentals of DC machines. So fundamentals of DC machines are there, that DC machine we basically talking about the rotating DC machines. We're talking about which type of DC machines? Rotating DC machines. Rotating means there will be some rotating part in it. Okay. And if I am talking about the rotating part in it, means the rotating part which is basically known as the rotor in machines, but in DC machine we called as armature. Okay. And the stator, which is the stationary part, or we can say the static part, which does not rotate, that is the stationary part known as stator, but in the DC machine we called as field. We called as what? Field. So this is the basic, but the fundamental of DC machine is basically the motoring and generating action. Now, if a machine or a device which is used to convert the electrical energy into the mechanical energy, electrical energy into the mechanical energy, means I am converting voltage, current, power, energy into torque, speed, rotation per minute, revolution per minute, rotation per second, revolution per second. That is what? Motor. That is known as motor. Means I am converting the electrical input and giving the mechanical output. That is known as motor. Okay. Now the reciprocal and the vice versa of it. That is, if I am for example, I am taking a machine or a device which is used to convert mechanical power into the electrical power. That means converting torque, speed, revolution per minute, rotation per minute, revolution per second, rotation per second into voltage, current, power, energy. That is known as generator. That is known as what? Generator. So two basic part of DC machines are motor and generator. Okay. But the main thing is that the motor and generator, if I'm talking about DC motor and DC generator, having same construction, having same types. Okay. If construction are same, if construction parts are same, so we can say the types are also same. Okay. But the process, the working, the principle of operation is different. Okay. Now I'm taking generator first, DC machine. So the basic principle of DC generator is Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. And if I talk about the motor, DC motor, that is, though the basic principle of DC motor is electromagnetic interaction. Okay. And if I want to know the direction, because there will be some rotating part in it, that is known as rotor or armature. So if I want to know the direction of induced EMF in generator, that is given by Fleming right hand rule. And if I know about the rotation of the rotor, means torque in the output, that is motor, so that is given by Fleming left hand rule. Okay. If rotor rotate basically by the rotating phenomena, we can say electromagnetic force on top, so it rotate in anti-clockwise direction. Or if I'm giving some external force to it, some mechanical input, that it rotates into the clockwise direction. So generator rotor rotates in the clockwise direction because I am and you, and we can say the prime mover is rotating. Okay. But if I'm talking about, my dear student, motor, so motor we doesn't give any mechanical input. We give only which input? Electrical. Okay, so the output of motor will become the input of to the generator, and the output of generator will become the input to the generator. So whole things are same. That is why the construction is same. The construction parts, or we can say the thing which we are using to construct it, are same. A DC motor can become a DC generator, and DC generator can become a DC motor. Okay, now if I'm talking about the construction, so in previous lecture to previous lecture, I talked about the construction. Okay, so in construction we having yoke, which gives mechanical support, and basically outermost shell, we can say outermost cover. Okay, then field, which induce basically generate the magnetic field, that is the electromagnetic field. So we need pole, that is field pole core, and pole shore, we can say pole faces. I hope you understand. I basically talked about previously. I talked about a lot about this types of field core, field coils, and basically pole core, pole coil, and pole shoe. Okay. Then we having the armature rotating part. Though in armature we having the core. What we having the core. So on the armature core we make slots, that is known as parallel path, like this. We having the parallel paths. So armature core is there. The armature core consists of conductors, that is armature windings or armature coil. So if I am talking about the field winding, that is of again made up of aluminum or copper. Okay, so if I am talking about the armature winding, that is also made up of what? Copper and aluminum. Okay, I hope you understand. Though armature core, armature winding, these two, and armature slots. This is after this the main important part which we only use in DC machines, not using AC machines. That is what? That is your commutator. Commutator means which basically convert DC into AC, means bidirectional current to unidirectional. So then we having the brush which take current from the commutator and supply or transfer it to the terminals in generator, because we need supply, so we take supply from the terminals. But if you talk about the motor, so in motor we give supply and take output from the shaft. We connect load to the shaft, that is we require mechanical. I hope you understand. Now, so in this lecture, what I want to tell you, basically what I want to teach you, my dear student. So in this lecture, I want to teach you, or I want to tell you about these things: armature windings, commutation process, and EMF equation. So in my previous lecture, I basically talked a lot of about the DC windings, that is armature windings, and we can say that the winding which is used in DC machines. So in this lecture, basically I will tell you about the specified armature windings, because in my previous lecture I talked about the lap, wave, equalizer link, dummy coils, all these. But in this I only talk about the armature windings. Previously I talked about the DC machines winding or DC winding. So in this armature windings, how commutation process occurs, take place basically, and the EMF equation. Because in, if I am talking about the generator, though I am talking about the voltage, because the generation word basically for the generator. So generator generates, gives output electrical. So if I am talking about, my dear student, the electrical, it means what? Electrical may be in form of voltage, current, power, energy. So I am talking about the EMF equation. The EMF equation for the DC generator, not for the DC. If I am talking about the DC motor, though I am talking about the what? I am talking about the torque, speed. But if I am talking about the DC generator, then I am always talking about the EMF equation. So now these are the objectives of this lecture, because I want to deliver this lecture to you, means students. So say there will be some objective of me, why I am delivering to you. Because if you are attending and basically listening my lecture and basically watching my lecture, my dear students, so why I'm delivering this, I having some objective to deliver this, to deliver you. So first, help the student to understand about the basics of different types of armature windings, basics of different types of armature winding used in DC machine, specified armature winding, different types of armature winding and their basics, what we use basically. Okay. Now second, make student familiar with the process of commutation and generation of an EMF in DC generators. So we are basically drive an EMF equation in this lecture for DC generator of EMF for DC generator, we can say. And before this, we are going to study or we are going to know about the process of commutation. So I hope you understand. Now, these are the some objectives. That is why I'm delivering this to you. Now, armature winding. Now, armature winding is classified into two types. Classified into how many types, my dear students? Two types. One is the lap, another one is the wave. So lap binding and wave bindings, we can say, are there. Now, if I am talking about the armature winding, my dear student, do see. Now, what happens basically? It is a basic diagram to represent how armature conductor take place or basically work, how this commutator doing the work, and how brushes are there, and this is the supply. Now see, my dear student, what I want to tell you basically in this lecture. See, in this we having two magnets which are showing here. Basically for small dynamo we can say, or the small DC machines, we use permanent magnet. We use what? Permanent magnet. Because in the previous units, basically unit 1 and unit 2, we talked a lot about the magnetic field, the magnetic circuit, the magnetic properties, the magnetic force, the magnetic torque. So though all these we are kept in our mind, that if I want to generate magnetic field, so I have two options. One, that is permanent magnet. But my dear student, for higher HPN, for heavy work, or we can say the high mechanical work we need. So in that one, we can't able to use bigger size of permanent magnet, because if we the bigger size of permanent magnet available in the market, if though we can't able or we can't afford the purchase that magnet because it will be very costly. Okay, so we have to, and that permanent magnet is basically work in permanency, means basically persist a magnetic field. But second option is what? That we use in a wide range, in a wide manner, we can say. That is electromagnets. Okay. Now, if I want to make electromagnet, so I need what? I need a core that is made up of ferromagnetic material, cast, iron, steel, nickel, cobalt, and alloy. All these things. But specifically, we can say we use cast iron for these small machines, small power machines, small HP machines. We can say horsepower, that is 746 watt equal to, okay. If I want to convert into wattage, but if you go in the market and you want to purchase motor, though what you say, give me 2 volt motor, give me 220 volt kilovolt or 220 volt motor. That is not true. When you will go to the market, then if you want to purchase a motor, then you have to tell the shopkeeper, give me 5 HP motor, give me 2 HP motor. Now 2 HP you can convert into wattage, that is 746 watt. So 2 HP will become 1.5 approximate kilowatt. Okay, so that is it. But now electromagnet I have to make, though I have to need cast iron for small machines, but for higher machines we use steel, or for more higher, steel sheets, and we do the lamination to reduce the eddy current and hysteresis loss both. And if I want to remove only hysteresis loss, then I will use silicon contained steel due to BH current. Okay, so now, if I am making an electromagnet, though I need a what? I need a core which is made up of ferromagnetic materials. Okay. Then on that core, what I will do? I basically wound winding on it. Okay. And if I wound winding on it and I give supply to that winding, so what will happen? What will happen, my dear student? If I give supply to that winding, though current will meet the turns of that coil. If it meet with the turns of that coil, though ampere and turn will give you what? Ampere and turn will give you what, my dear students? It will give you the MMF. Okay. And if reluctance in that magnetic field we have, then MMF by reluctance will give you the flux. So that denotes the magnetic field. That denotes what? That denotes the magnetic field. So now here I am representing a magnetic field with the N or S. Now, what happens if I am using a permanent magnet here? Though we always think or always keeping in our mind that if I am using a magnetic circuit or permanent magnet, though we always find what? We always find flux lines in it. That is denoted by B. Okay, so always we having the flux lines, though that flux lines is basically moving from north to south or south to north, means attraction, not repulsion. Though if I am rotating in this, I am rotating a conductor with some external force or whatever it is, though I am basically moving that conductor which is shown like this. So these are the parallel slot or parallel path, but in this armature we have the conductors. Conductor is what? Basically the we can say coil. We can say what? Coil or conductors. Conductors I am representing as a coil or winding, the portion which basically occupy in a slot or which basically take place in a slot, behaving like a conductor, behaving like a conductor. So these are showing here, that is the conductor by golden color, that is the conductor. So these are armature conductor, that is, this is known as stator field, because this part is providing you the flux, the flux lines, the magnetic field. Though if I rotate this conductor, basically the armature conductors, why it is called conductor? Now I want to tell you one thing. If it's rotate, then it will cut the flux lines by this. If armature core consists of slot and winding, basically these armature conductor, or we can say the armature core consists of slot, and that slots consist of coil, that is known as armature conductor. If I rotate that armature core, that armature core cuts the magnetic flux with the help of their slots. Okay, if it cuts the magnetic field, though we can use the principle, or we can say we having the principle of Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. Okay, what happens whenever there is a change in flux linkage, then there will be there will be an induction EMF known as induced EMF. And if it is a closed circuit, then it is known as the current will flow because it is a closed. So EMF will become voltage, and voltage will give you the force to move the charges from one end to another end. Though we can say the rate of flow of charges is known as current. So what happened? It cuts and the current will introduce, and that current is basically by the EMF, that is the value we have, E is equals to minus n d phi by dt. But here I am not using minus sign because I am using Fleming right hand rule. I am using what? Fleming right rule, in which motion of the conductor in a magnetic field induced like this. Motion of the conductor in a magnetic field induced EMF. So EMF will induce. Now it is shown by like this commutator. Now if EMF is induced, that is what is known as conductor, because they are carrying the current which is induced by the phenomena of Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction by cutting or varying the flux which is induced or generated by the stator field. We can say, okay. Now, here we are using commutator. Why I am using commutator, my dear student? Now see, this is the Fleming right hand rule. Now, if I am rotating like this, now the rotor is rotate like this. Now see the direction. This is the EMF. Now EMF is changing or not? EMF is changing. So if EMF is changing, so sometimes this is entering and sometimes it is leaving, entering and leaving. So we can't say it is unidirectional. Can we say? No, never. We can't say that it is in a unidirection. So what we have to do? We have to basically convert this bidirectional current into unidirectional current. Though I need a specified instrument, special basically for DC machine, that is known as commutator. Though this is the commutator having lugs connected with this armature, basically the armature winding. Now if it is carrying the current, now convert into the DC. Now one thing I want there, which carries the current, which pick up basically the current from armature, armature conductor to commutator, and pick up from the commutator basically. Though I use brushes here, and brushes are basically made up of carbon, graphite and copper also, but generally for the cheaper cost we use copper. Now it is carrying and give to the terminal. See, Okay, though that is the basic reason, a basic thing. Though I need armature conductors, armature winding, because armature winding are playing an important role. Why armature windings are playing an important role, my dear student? Because these armature winding flowing the current to the commutator, and commutator convert bidirectional current into unidirection and gives to the basically provide to the brush, and provide brushes basically carries this current to the terminals. So we will get the supply very easily from the terminals. So I hope you understand. Now, lap winding. Two types of winding are there. I previously talked about this thing, that we having two types of winding. One is lap, another one is the wave. Now lap winding. Lap winding are used in machine designed for low voltage and high current. Low voltage and high current. If I need low voltage, means for example 20 volt, 40 volt, we can say 60 volt, for example 80 volt, and current I needed 10 ampere, 20 ampere, 30 ampere. So I basically make the construction of armature and having the winding of lap type, that is lap winding. I hope you understand. Now, armatures are connected with large wire because of high current. Now, current will be very, we can say current is high, so we need large wire, size of wire. Now, are used in the starter motor of almost all automobiles. Used in what? All automobiles for starter motor. If I want to start the basically for purpose, so starter motor which I am using, we also called as the alternator or self, we can say we start the motor. So in this case, we are using this type of motor having lap winding. Okay. Now the windings of a lap bound armature are connected in parallel, not in series, and this permits the current capacity of each winding to be added and provides a high voltage. Now one thing, my dear student, if I am talking about the series, if I'm talking about the what series, so in series circuit or series, we having what, current is same but voltage are different. If I'm talking about parallel, though in parallel current are different but voltage is same. So what I am going to do here, voltage will be low, but if I am making a parallel connection of the winding, make connected in parallel form, see in this, just like this, a parallel connection of windings, four windings connected in parallel. So the total current will be I is equals to the current which is flowing in the one coil I am representing as I1, I2 which is flowing in the second coil, I3 which is flowing in the third coil, I4 which is flowing in the fourth coil, and the total current will be I is equals to I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. We can say so. The total current we are getting the addition of it. Now, number of parallel path A is equals to P, and P is equals to number of poles. Now, one thing is there, my dear student. In this, we can't identify because we are making parallel connections on armature. Though what we can say, if having four poles, so we can say four parallel path we have. A is basically the parallel path. A is what? Parallel path. And if I'm using a lap winding, it means I am representing just like A is equals to poles. How many poles we wound in a basically field? That is the poles. So I'm representing A is equals to number of poles in lap. In wave it is different, but in lap it is A is equals to P. So I hope you understand. Now, wave are used in machines designed for high voltage and low current. Different. If I need the voltage high and current is low, though I use this type of winding, that is known as wave winding. I hope you understand. This is known as, my dear student, is wave winding. So I hope you understand. Now their windings connected in series. Now see here, these are connecting in the series. Okay. Now if I want to tell you one thing, that if I am telling the series connection, what I am telling here, my dear student, a series connection. So series connection means what? Series connection means voltages are different but current are same. Voltages are the in the addition but currents are same because series. So current will be the low and voltage will be the higher. Now when windings are connected in series, the voltage of each winding is added, but the current capacity remain the same. Remain same. You can say we make a sim are used in the small generator. Now voltage is higher but current is requirement is lower. Then we use this type of winding. So this is used in the small generator only. It is used in only in the small generator, not in the large size. But if I'm talking about the previous winding, that is the lap winding. So lap winding we use in which application? Where we need high current but voltage is low. But here, if I am needing high voltage and current is low, so we make series connection. So in this, basically how many paths we have? Only two. Lap, positive, negative, positive, negative. See here, we having one for positive, then negative. So we can say that if I am talking about the lap winding, though in lap winding A is equal always equals to the number of poles. And if I am talking about the wave winding, so we can say A is equals to 2. Only 2, that is numeric value. So I hope you understand. Now moving forward, armature windings. Now see here. These are the commutator segments, so we make a connection like this, so that in a portion, basically I am representing this thing. So this is the 1 ton, this called as the 1 ton. And if I am talking about the 1 ton, means 1 ton always equals to the two conductors, means 1 ton consists of two conductors. It is very basic. 1 ton basically consists of two conductors. Now these are the commutator segments. We are where basically we are placing these ends of the coils, starting and ending. Now these are the north poles. So see here, that is showing like this. This is armature, and we having position of feed poles. Okay, the north and south, and this is the commutator. Now in lap winding, we make connections like messy. Messy means 1 upon 1 upon 1 upon 1 upon like this. Okay, this making the series connection. But if I am talking about the wave, see here, my dear student. In this, we are making the parallel 1 upon 1 upon the lap. But if I am talking about the wave, though we having the series north south south north north south south north. It is very simple like this. See, one, two, one, two. Only two positions are there. But see in here, how many positions we can't identify. So we can say that basically four pole consist of four armature. So we can say this portion and this portion consists by the four poles, two poles like this, two poles like this. So we can say the winding about the lap, that is equals to the number of poles. But if I'm talking about the wave, though we having two things, one, two, one. Okay, so I hope you understand. A is equals to P for lap and A is equals to 2 for wave. Now, now see, this is the lap winding. This is the lap winding. Now see here, the simple connection I am making like this: positive, negative, positive, negative. But we are connecting parallel. Though start from here. Now this is the one portion is connected with the two like this. See, we are connecting. So we having a retrogressing progressive. We talked a lot about in my previous lecture what is retrogressive, what is progressive. So this is the all clear. But now see how we make connections. In this, we make connection from the front pitch or back pitch. We have two things. So we are making the connection with the second. Then this one is also making this connection like this. And then we having, for example, we start from here. One is connected with the what? That is 2. Okay, then this is the 2 portion representing here. Okay, this is the 1 2. Now 2 is again connecting with this thing. 3 is connecting like this. Okay, so we are considering the 4 poles. Basically it is all given that we having 4 poles construction. So we can make the north south north south north south. So current is entering, we are consisting north. Current is leaving, we are basically thinking or making that it is a south pole. Again current is entering, then it is again north pole. And current is leaving, that is I am representing as a south pole. So we make a construction. And almost we having the commutator segments 1938, we can say total. Start from him 1921, then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 13 14 15 16 17 18 19. So we are connecting. These are basically the commutator segments. What are they? The commutator segments. And in this, if it is a current entering, so we are representing as a plus carbon brush here. And if it is leaving, we are considering as a negative carbon brush. Now here we are representing as a brush which is made up of carbon, that represent the brushes, positive and negative. And the addition of these two we are giving at the output, that is positive terminal and the negative terminal. So we are connecting in the parallel form, just like see. We are connecting in the parallel, and that is why we are making a pole. So we can say A is equals to B, that is brushes. A is the number of parallel path, equals to the brushes, equal to the poles. Means 4 pole is there, then we are presenting 4 brushes to carry this current like this. Positive and negative, positive, negative, because in the outer thing, or we can say the basically what I told you before, that from commutator brush carries the current and gives to a terminal. Gives to what? Gives to the terminal and flows to the terminal, through which terminal, through that terminal we can basically give supply from it, because a load for generator is always an electrical thing or electrical load, and a load for the motor is always mechanical, rotate something. So I hope you understand. Now this is the wave. This is what, my dear student, a wave band. Now it is again also I'm representing here the north south, but they are connected in the series form like this. So we having two, one for the plus, another for the negative. So we can say A is equals to C. See here, positive, negative, positive. So we are making again the connection like this, but we are representing here in the continuous one. Okay, two will be there, one for the positive, another one for the negative. Okay, but in the previous four things are there, so we can consider as a uh, equal to number of poles, equal to number of brush. But here we having only two things, positive and negative. So I hope you understand about the wave and lip binding. Just go through it. It is a basic structure diagram of lap uh, wave, and the lap binding is in this thing. Now see here. See this winding we are using in the lab, and the connection which I am using in the wave is different from the lab. So we can say what? The number of parallel paths we have is equals to, number of parallel path is equals always equals to 2 in wave. But if I am talking about the lab, so it is always equal to the number of poles, whether it is 2 pole, whether they are 4 poles. Okay. Now I hope you understand. Now after this, the commutation process. So my dear student, if you know about the windings, now I'm taking a brief. Again, I'm taking field basically used to generate the magnetic field. That is of electromagnet type. That is why we are using pole core made up of ferromagnetic material, laminated to reduce eddy current loss, and silicon contained steel to reduce hysteresis loss, reversal of magnetism. Then I use, or basically the manufacturing company use the winding wound on it, made up of aluminum or copper. It is of former wound. Former wound means if the pole is in the shape of rectangular, so I need rectangular one. Though the rectangular winding we can basically make, how can we make rectangular shape winding? Though we need a rectangular basically rectangular what? Rectangular former, rectangular basically shape base thing, we can say. So if I make wound winding on it, so I make the former wound winding. So that is known as the former wound winding, which I place on field. Okay. Now if I give supply to that field, it converts as a, or it gives you the magnetic field as per the Biot-Savart law. Okay. Now that flux is basically from north to south and south to north, that is represent like a flux, we can say the flux linkage, which I earlier told you in the first unit also and second unit also, that if I use a bar magnet, though in bar magnet we always flux linkages, flux lines shown by a circle, semicircle, from north to south and south to north. So similar to that one, from north south or four poles, then opposite poles attract each other, and same poles, same polarity poles repel each other. Though north to south attract, south to north attract, south south repel, north north repel. So that will happen. And if I give basically rotate the armature here, so armature rotates and cut the magnetic field flux, we can say. So we can say the Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction take place, occurs. Due to this, we'll get the EMF, and that will happen in the closed path. So what will happen? Due to that EMF, it will convert into current. That is known as induced current. Okay, and that current will be, we can also basically how can we say, if I identify the direction of that current, we can represent like a Fleming right hand that E. And if it is in rotating nature, the current will also changing. For half cycle, it is like this. For negative, for positive half cycle, for negative half cycle. So entering and leaving. But my dear student, if I am talking about entering and leaving means plus and minus, it always represent what? It is represent AC, alternating current. Because in alternating current, we having the magnetic phase changes as per the, basically we can say, based on angle changes. Okay, the current whose magnitude phase change with respect to time. But in DC, the phase and magnitude, because we doesn't have any phase, but we having a magnitude, does not change with respect to time. So if I am having the positive and negative means similar like this, so it is not feasible. So we can say it is a DC machine. Why I am calling as a DC machine? We can call as a AC machine because it is giving me output as a AC. But we want what? We want DC in output. So we use a device that is known as commutator. That is known as what, my dear student? Commutator. Now, commutation is the positioning of DC generator brush so that commutator segment change brushes at the same time armature current changes direction. Means positive, then positive, negative to negative. And it will give you output like this. See here. Here will the output without a commutator. So we'll get the AC sign. But if I am applying a commutator, though, we'll get the output like this. Either positive or either negative. So commutation is the positioning of DC generator brushes so that the commutator segment change brushes at the same time the armature current changes its direction. Now, it is the process of converting AC generator voltage in the armature conductor to DC for X because we want to give DC output. So that is the basic commutation. So my dear student, commutation process in interpoles in DC machines. We can say in some DC machines, if I want to improve the commutation, and later on I will tell you in my next lecture about the armature reactions. Basic thing I want to tell you here, that if the current we give to the field, we can say we having a field flux, one flux which is main flux also called as, that is of field, that is of what? Field. But see my dear student, in armature I have having a core made up of again ferromagnetic material, I have having a winding. So what will happen? Again a flux will take place in armature also, though armature flux and the field flux, two fluxes are there always in a DC machine. So what will happen? The armature flux basically distort or demagnetize the main field flux because it work like this. It is working like this or it is working like this. Opposite, we can say this is demagnetizing, this is cross magnetizing. We can say though armature reaction take place in all DC machines. That is known as the armature reaction. In short form, what I basically want to say, the armature flux distort the main field flux in two ways, demagnetize and cross magnetize. So later on in my next lecture, I will tell you about the armature reaction in deep. What is it? So for removing that armature reaction or improving the commutation, we use interpoles. See here, these are the interpoles. These are the, why I am calling as an interpole. See, this is the 4-pole machine, but I am using the interpoles, some more poles, small part of that pole known as the interpole. That is the shunt pole, that is the frame basically the yoke, armature conductors, commutator is there in the middle, interpole, this is small portion, pole shoe, field winding, shunt pole, these are the terminals plus and minus, field rheostat we can say. So we are using 4 interpoles, means it, this machine will look like 8 poles, 4 bigger poles and smaller 4 poles. That is known as interpoles. So we can say the commutation process, we can find it, improve the commutation and armature reaction also. To remove the, basically decrease the armature reaction. Because if I increase the armature reaction, the main field flux value will decrease. Due to this, if I having the 5 Weber flux instead of 10 Weber flux, then the induced EMF is also become 5, but I need 10. That is the difference. So in later on, I'll tell you about the armature reaction now. See here, my dear student, how the commutation process takes place. It is very simple. Now see here in the first case, 20 ampere is entering, but 20 ampere is leaving. Here is 20. See in C winding, 20 ampere is entering, 20 ampere is entering. So we can apply brush here, though we'll get the addition of these two. That is B plus C. So 20 plus 20 we are getting plus 20. If I apply here brush, then I'll get 21. Okay, and 20 means one is entering, one is leaving, so we can say 20 minus 20, 0 we will get here. Now see here, again here in this I'm getting 20 here. So they, if I'm using the half portion on this, so 10 ampere is coming here and 10 ampere is going there, we can say. Now 30 ampere we are getting here, 30 plus 10 we are getting 40. So if I am placing some half portion of A, again I am getting 40. See here, if I am placing like this, 20 plus 20, I am getting again 40. In this process, 30 and 40 we are getting again 40. But here if I am having the 35 ampere and 5 ampere, though we having 40. So I am basically doing what I am want to show you here. That is the time of commutation. Plus 20 ampere for this and 15 ampere for the minus side, we can say. Now see how we are doing basically. If 20 current is entering and 15 current is leaving, so 20 minus 15, 5 we'll get. So in a one direction, that is a positive. 30 ampere is basically 10 ampere is entering, 30 ampere is leaving. So 10 minus 30 minus 20. So minus 20 will getting the minus sign and 10 will getting the positive. So two things are there, positive and negative. So through this we make our commutation process. So I hope you understand about the commutation process, my dear student. Okay, now this is the commutation process for understanding. Okay, now this is the generated EMF or EMF equation of a generator. It's a very simple equation. How can we make for this? Basically, EMF equation, we have some parts, some variables, we can say, some thing we have to consider on it. First, phi, that is flux per pole in Vega. Always we talked about the flux. Z is total number of armature conductor, means the conductors, or the we can say the coil winding we placed in the armature slots, that is known as conductors. It is also represent like this, number of slot into number of conductors per slot. For example, I having 20 conductors and we having 4 slots. We having what? 4 slots. So we'll get 4 slots and 20 conductors if I am having. Okay, so we can represent like this. Now, number of generating pole, that is represented by P. Number of parallel paths in armature, that is A is equals to 2 for wave, as I earlier told you, and A is equals to P for lap. Now, N, I am representing N. Generally we use N for the coil, that is represent turns, but I am representing N for the speed here. Now, armature rotation revolution per minute, that is RPM. E, I am representing as a EMF in induced in any parallel path in armature, because EMF will induce in in armature as per the Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. Now, generated EMF is always EG. I'm using because see, in generator we use generating EMF, but in motor we use back EMF because the direction is opposite. In motor the direction is opposite, that is known as back EMF, but in generator we always used to say generating. So for motor it is a back EMF, but for generator is a generating EMF. Because in motor we always try to drive expression for torque because we want torque in the output, but for generator we always go for EMF. So I hope you understand. Now average EMF generated per conductor, we can write d phi by dt as per Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. But my dear student, I am not using N because I am representing coil is 1, and I am not using minus N because I am using Fleming right hand rule. Fleming right hand rule. Though the equation will become d phi by dt. Now d phi is the flux variation basically. So we can write flux cut per conductor in one revolution. How many flux and how much flux we have and how many poles we have. So the multiplication of these two will become phi p, because through flux, through the poles, flux are varying. If 4 flux are there, the 4 into how many flux, basically the value will be the flux, so we can write d5. Okay, now number of revolution per second, can say, so n by 60. We can write what? N by 60. But time for one revolution, we can write 60 by n. If I considered the number of revolution per second is n by 60, but now the time for one revolution will become what, my dear student? dt is equals to time for 60 by n. Now, according to Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction, EMF generated per conductor will become d5 by dt. So we can place the value here, 5p, and dt value 60 by n, so 5p n by 60. Okay. Now, number of conductor in series in one parallel path. So how many conductors we have? That is z. And in how many path we have? Though we have to divide the parallel path. So we can write what? Z by E. Now 5pn by 60 into z by E. Okay. I hope you understand this thing, because how many conductors we have in a parallel path. So parallel path we have, and how many conductors? So we make conductors divided by path. That is parallel path. So 5pn 60 by za into 60. We can say the 5pn into z by 60. Now generated EMF equation will become 5z and p by 60 in a very simple way. That is, phi is flux, z is number of armature conductor, n is the speed, and p is the number of poles. 60 we are for the one revolution, and a is number of parallel paths. Okay. Now this is a very simple equation, and the wave winding, I already told you, a is equals to 2, and for left, a is equals to b. So I hope you understand about these things. Now a is equals to 2 for wave winding, and a is equals to p for lap winding. I hope you understand. Now this is thing which I basically d5 by dt. Now this is we derived. Or the main equation for the EMF for generator is 5p zn by 60, or we can say 5 zn p by 60, where phi is the flux, z is the number of conductors in the armature, n is the speed of armature, p is the number of poles. Now a is the parallel path. I hope you understand about EMF equation. Now types of DC generator. Now, my dear student, if I am talking about the DC generator, though the construction are same, construction basically the parts are same and the construction is same, though the types are also same. So in DC generator we having self-excited having three parts: shunt, series, compound, and separately no part. So later on I'll tell you in a detailed manner that what we having the types. Similar to that one we having in the motor also. Motor having separately excited, first type. Second is self-excited. In self, shunt, series, compound. Basically, one thing is there, my dear student, in self, how we connect the field winding. In a shunt with the armature, in a series with the armature, in a compound means both long shunt and short shunt with armature. So that is the types. Separately and self have three types: shunt, series, and compound. And compound we having long shunt and short shunt. And furthermore, we can basically divide into cumulative compound and differential compound. Okay, so I hope you understand. Now these are some MCQs for you related to this. Which voltage is neutralized in voltage commutation process? That is reactance. Interpoles are excited with the armature current only. Interpoles are excited by keeping them in series with the armature. Okay, and it is excited by field current. What is the relation between number of parallel paths? A is equals to P. The armature of DC motor is related to eddy current losses. If A is the number of parallel path and P is the number of poles, then the number of parallel path in lap winding and wave winding is A is equals to P for lap and A is equals to 2 for wave. So first option is correct. Now next, a 8-pole DC generator has wave bound armature with 812 conductors. Z is given to you, flux per pole, phi is given to you, speed you want to generate, basically you want to know, and voltage, that is E, is given to you. So E is equals to phi Z and P by 60A. So we having 4-pole, that is P, Z, flux, phi, Z, P. We having 240, that is E. Now, which type of winding is there, my dear student? Wave. So wave have A is equals to 2. Though A is also given. Now we have to identify only N. So you'll get the D option if you calculate it. Okay. Now in DC machine, the current rating and voltage rating of wave winding is Why distorted wave winding is high, current rating is low and voltage is high. Okay. Now wave winding machines are used in, you all know which current application, low current application and high voltage. Okay, I hope you understand. Now these are the references from which I took some material to basically deliver this lecture as a resource. So these are the good books, you can just go through. These are available in our library. Very good books are there. A. Fitzgerald, Stephen G. Chapman, R. K. Srivastava. These are very good books. So just go through these books. Just go through the content which these books are basically having. Good content they have. So this is all about from my side. Thank you for listening. I hope you understand about this lecture. Okay, and this lecture basically consists three parts. One is basically the armature windings. Second is basically the commutation process, and third is basically your what, EMF equation. So I hope you understand. Thank you for listening.